Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Interviewing and Report Writing. My name is Craig Foss. I'm the department chair here at Alvin Community College's Criminal Justice Department. There was only 4 of you in the class, and 3 of you have had me as an instructor before, so I'm just introducing myself to that 4th student. I'm not going to be your instructor this semester, but I've put together the videos that will be used, and since I did that, I'm going to go ahead and do this video. Your weekly update videos and the rest of the instruction will be given by the instructor Kevin Rogers. Mr. Rogers is the director of in-service training and the range master here at Alvin Community College. I'll just give you a little background on him. He was a police officer starting first in Bastrop, Texas, out near Austin. And then he left there and went to Austin Community College Police Department, where he served as eventually a patrol sergeant. And that's where he got his experience in report writing, because as a patrol sergeant, part of your job is proving reports. Pretty much you grade reports, and you get to see everybody's reports for the entire shift or whatever group that's working for you. I did that as a patrol sergeant in Galveston, and as a sergeant in the ID division in Galveston. I had to read a lot of reports, and particularly in the patrol division, had to fail a lot of reports, send them back to be updated. So Mr. Rogers has a lot of experience with looking at reports. He came to work here in this area, moved back near family to go to work at the Santa Fe ISD Police Department, and he continues to work there on a part-time basis. He's an officer with the school district. He's been here at the college for a little over a year, and has been very vital in teaching and particularly mentoring our police cadets, working very closely with them in reviewing material, teaching part of the material, and obviously working with them on the firing range as a range master. He will be doing the weekly update videos. He'll be looking at your papers. He'll be your point of contact. When you do your interviews, you'll be doing interviews with him. So you'll spend a lot of time talking to him. I think you'll find him to be a very good instructor, very informative and easy to approach with any issues. So just kind of keep that in mind. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to spend a little bit of time showing you how you navigate around this course in Blackboard. I realize that 3 of you are probably fairly well aware of it because the navigation is the way I set it up. The new student may not know that. If you're watching this video because you got an email about it and you are the new student, and don't know how to log into Blackboard, well, get with Mr. Rogers, get with the tech support, because you're going to need to be able to get into Blackboard itself to kind of work the class. Obviously, that's where everything is. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to put this into the student mode so you'll have the screen that y'all will see as opposed to the screen the instructor sees. When you launch into Blackboard, you will land on what is called the dashboard or the home page. In this course, it's called dashboard. And here, the only thing you really need to look at is the announcements. The due dates. We're not going by Blackboard due dates because of allowing you to work ahead and using what's called adaptive releases to release material to you. If you use due dates and things are past due, then it just doesn't work. I've tried it in the past. I just don't use them. So don't go by, if it says nothing's due this week, that's not true. Something's due every single week of the semester. Just keep that in mind. And we will go over, we'll kind of look at the schedule in just a minute. So on this page, again, the main thing is going to be the announcements. The announcements will go out however often Mr. Rogers sends them out, but usually there's a little check mark we can check that says it sends them out to you as an email also, and that's the way I send mine out, and I'm sure that's the way he'll be sending his out. Okay, the next thing we're going to do over here on your left-hand side of the screen is going to be all the navigation tabs. I'll call it the tab section, where you can go to different type of pages. Again, the dashboard was the first one. Next, we have course material, and that's just a heading. And under course material, we've got the three meat potatoes that you're going to have. Start here is where we have the course syllabus and other important things like that, the textbook, the schedule, and so forth. Weekly content is where everything is that's needed for the week, with the exception of the exams. They're all in the exam tab, which is the next one down. Next section, we have communications, and under it you have a link to go to the email. You have a link to the discussion board, which is going to be part of your weekly exercises. You will be able to get to all the discussions in the weekly content from the particular week, but here's a shortcut to all of the discussion boards. There's a link to your grades, and there's a link to the virtual meeting room. Now, this is the meeting room where you will be conducting your interviews with, actually it goes by Commander Rogers here on campus, so we'll go ahead and call him by his police academy title, Commander Rogers. And, it's a very simple setup system. You just need a computer, or you can use your cell phone to do it. He can send you a link, and you'll be able to interview him. You'll be able to see him. That's kind of important in the interview part, is that you can see the person that you're interviewing. Then we have a couple other areas for technical support and chat and all. So let's start with the Start Here, aptly named. All courses in this college are supposed to have a Start Here page. On ours, we've got the course syllabus, another link to my grades, the class schedule. And as I told you, you're going to have something due every week. We're going to be going through the first week in introduction. You'll have a quiz that you'll have to take and make a 100 on. You have a discussion of introduce yourself discussion. Then you've got the each week you'll be having one chapter per week for the most part. Except for the final week, there's no chapter there, but you've got chapters 1 through 14. This textbook is a very good book. We started this course because our advisory board said that they were getting officers that were coming out in the field who were very deficient in report writing. That's kind of the thing that's a common complaint. Working as a detective, that used to be my chief complaint about what was going on with the reports we would get. There's nothing more embarrassing than to call up a victim and say, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and suspend your case because we have we don't have any leads to go on." And he says, "Well, what about the witness and the suspect that I told the officer about?" And the officer forgot to write it in his report. That's a bad report. Those are sometimes hard to, as far as the patrol sergeant, he doesn't know what the officer spoke to the person, so those are kind of hard things to get there. And unfortunately, it happened not just once or twice, but over my career several times, where the report was very deficient. So we like to see that you get the nuts and bolts of it, writing things properly, but also knowing what things to put in there, covering everything. And that's part of the reason we have an interview phase of this course, where you're going to spend some time interviewing. So hopefully you'll ask the right questions, because you don't want to have to go back and say, "Hey, I was over here a couple hours ago and I went to write my report. I forgot to get your name and address, or I forgot to get your phone number," something like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. But anyway, that's kind of the schedule. You'll have writing assignments that are due pretty much each week. We'll have 10 different written assignments. We also have 2 different exam reviews, the midterm exam and the final exam review. And then you have 2 weeks where you are going to be scheduled to do your interviews. So there's not an assignment due that week, but you do have to do the interviews either that week or whatever time you can make arrangements with Commander Rogers to get the interviews done. And that will kind of be how y'all work it out, what kind of schedule. Interviews take 10, 15 minutes at the most, so they don't take that much time. And that's kind of typical what you get when you're making a report when you're interviewing a witness. That's it shouldn't take you that long. I mean, not that there obviously if somebody's a witness in a very complicated case, it may take a lot longer, but typically it's going to be fairly short. Okay, I already mentioned the book being a very good book. It's called Report Writing for Criminal Justice Professionals. There's the information on it. For as far as textbooks goes, I don't know if this is the current price, but that's not a bad price. But look around. And you want to make sure that this is the up-to-date ISBN number. So go to the bookstore and check it. Sometimes they have different numbers for digital versions and so forth. So so kind of check that out. But it really is an easy reading book. It will not take you that long to read. But it's got some very good material. We looked at about 4 or 5 different books when we chose this one, and we're pleased with it. Okay, the next section that in here is the weekly content. We'll go ahead and come back to that in a minute. We'll go ahead and talk about the exams first. Now, the exams are all going to be given using the new HonorLock system. Unless you took classes the second half of the summer or the full summer session during the second half, you may have used HonorLock. If not, it is not hard to use. There is a video that is available for you on week 1. You have to use a Chrome browser. You have to use a webcam and microphone on the system. The exams are all open book. Just some hints. Wherever you take an exam, make sure there's enough light. Don't sit in a dark room to take your exam. One that just came up, don't have a picture of someone's right behind you. I had one student that, it had all kinds of alerts on them that there were more than one person in the room, and kept looking at it and realized it was a picture of their parents in the background, up on the wall, and that looked like there was someone else in the room. This system alerts us to things. It's open book, but it still alerts me anytime you look at another web page. So if you've got your textbook on the screen, it's still going to alert me. Of course, if it's your textbook, it's okay. You can use your textbook. You can use your personally created notes. You can't use anything else. So if you're looking at a Google search on there, that's cheating. You'll fail the class. Just keep that in mind. Commander Rogers will be going over, checking these videos. There's only 4 in the class. It won't take him that long to check them. So don't do anything you shouldn't, because we do get a chance to see any alerts on the system. Anyway, that's pretty standard. There is a video that if you haven't used it, that you'll want to watch. It'll be in the week 1. We'll show you that in a minute. The exams, there's only 2 of them. They're going to be true-false exams. You've got the one covering the first 7 chapters, and then you'll have one covering chapters 8 through 14. I believe they both have 50 questions in them. True-false are mostly multiple choice questions. There will be a review that you'll need to complete before you take the exam, and you'll be able to see everybody else's review once you post to your review. Hints on taking the exam: make sure that you complete all questions before you go back and check any answers. Invariably, I'll have a student every semester who will, hey, it's open book, I get to check my answers. They look at answer 1 and say, oh, I think that's right, let me double check in the book. And do it for check. They're spending 2 or 3 minutes per question at the front. You only have a minute per question for the entire exam. Now, typically it takes, you got a 50 question exam, it takes 20 to 30 minutes for most people to complete it. So it takes maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds for most people to answer a question. So you really have quite a while where you can look up answers. However, if you spend 2 minutes per question for the first 20 questions, you're going to run out of time before you finish the exam. So just kind of keep that in mind. Finish the exam first, make notes of which one, and you can use some scratch paper to make notes. Make sure you go back and check your answers only after you've completed the entire exam. Okay, we'll get to the weekly content. The first week, you're going to watch the video that you're watching now, and you'll participate in the discussion, and you'll take the introductory quiz. And there's the introduce yourself. It looks like I've got to add the honor lock video in here. We'll have it up here before the class starts. So what you're going to do is you'll take this quiz. You'll need to make a 100 on it. That will be covering the material that is in the introduction. There's an APA plagiarism video that is on here. You kind of look at the plagiarism part. We're not going to be doing things in the APA format in this class because it's a police report writing course, so that APA part's not applicable. In fact, if this video is not on here, it's because I looked at the quiz and saw there was no material and pulled it off. So, but if it's there, watch it because parts of it will be on the introductory quiz. If it's not there, then you're good to go. Okay, the next thing on here, and again for the introductory quiz, it will need to be taken using the honor lock system. There will be a video available right above here for you to watch before you actually take the exam. The next thing is the introduce yourself. So I want you to introduce yourself to the class in this discussion board. Just kind of tell about yourself, your career, your goals, about your family, your hobbies, anything you want to tell us about, your pets, why you're taking this class, what your career goals are, things like that. And be sure to go back and respond to other people's, welcome each other to the classroom. And again, that's what you have on the first week. The thing about this, the adaptive release that is part of the program, that means you're not going to see things until you finish things before. So the second week, you have a video on chapter 1 to watch, and you have the quiz on chapter 1. So you have to read the chapter in the book, watch the video. However, if you'll notice here, I've scrolled all the way down, there is no video and no quiz visible. That's because in order to see the video and the quiz, you must have completed the quiz, the introductory quiz with a 100 on it, and you must have participated in the introduce yourself discussion board. So those are two things that you will need to do. And each chapter, so when you take the chapter 1 video, you need to, or take quiz, you'll need to make at least a 70 on it because the chapter 2 will not be there. In the written assignment, the first one is going to be on describing a restaurant. Use proper grammar, proper English, proper paragraphs, and so forth. Let me go to another week and I'll show you another typical assignment. Probably have one with the video in the third week. No, this is just shopping list one. Hang on, let me find a week with one. Let's go to the 5th week. Okay, and as you see, we've got some videos that are embedded into the system. The information as far as who the suspect and phone number and all, I give it to you in the assignment up here, and then you'll need to watch this video. And you are the officer writing this report, so you will write the report from the eyes of the officer. So you simply click the video and you can watch it. Most of these videos are just a few minutes long, 4 or 5 minutes, and you're going to write a report about what happened in that situation. Again, using proper sentences, proper structure, and so forth. Now, sometime during the semester, we've got 10 different assignments. You will need to make at least 10 critical criticisms of other people's posts. So that's going to be part of the grade. I want you to go and look at their work and tell me what you, or tell them what you think they did great at, and as importantly, tell them what you think they can do to improve the report. Now, you don't have to do 10 of them the first week. You've only got 3 other students in the class, so you can't do 10 of them the first week. Typically meaning once a week, you'll need to do 1 critical review of somebody's work. And try to do more than 1 student during the semester. Don't just pick on one person and keep doing theirs. If you do one per week, you'll have the 10 covered. So just keep that in mind. Commander Rogers will be keeping track of that. That's about it. I did mention you will have to do the interviews. He will set that up with you. And again, that's two different scenarios. You'll have to ask all the proper questions. He's not going to lead you. Like if you forget to ask his name, he's not going to tell you his name. So, and his name might not be his real name, so you've got to ask all the details. You're not going to have an opportunity to go back and re-ask the questions after you write the report. So kind of make notes of what you need to ask. What information? Where do you live? What's your name? What's your address? What did you see? Were you hurt? What was stolen? What was the value of the items? Whatever. I'm not real sure which two scenarios are going to be in place, but that will be kind of something that you have to work with. Now, the last thing we need to go over is the actual course syllabus. Let me get out of the way, which is found on the Start Here page right here. And I got it open, so I'll go ahead and bring it up. Now, I've got a note in here that this course is not self-paced. You will be allowed to work ahead, but you must complete all course deadlines. Everything's due by midnight on Thursday night. Friday morning will probably be when Commander Rogers starts printing the reports on what has been completed that week, and then go from there. And then you're going to be counted as absent if you didn't do any of the work that was due that week. You'll be counted as late if you only did part of the work that was due that week. So you got to finish everything to be counted present. We'll talk about the repercussions of that shortly. Now, all the major exams have to be taken using that honor lock. I've already talked about it. You need a working webcam, microphone, and your ID, and a stable internet connection. It has to be in a full Chrome browser. By full Chrome browser, it's not the mobile version, the ones that work on cell phone and most tablets. Unless you've got a open source tablet that uses the ISO or the Chrome system, it won't work. Like I've got, my tablet is actually a Surface computer, that kind of convertible thing. It will work on that because it uses the full version of Windows and therefore the full version of the Chrome browser. But you have a Samsung or an iPad, it's not going to work. So you'll need that. And again, there's only 2 exams and the introductory quiz that will be using the honor lock system. So you'll have to use it on those 2 things. Okay, in talking to your instructor, you'll need to do so mainly by email. Probably, his office hours aren't on the intro page yet, but we'll get him to post things there with his office phone number. He does have an office number, and unlike me, he is on campus with the gun range. I'm not on campus, so definitely my best way is by email. But you'll be able to use either method with him, and I'll make sure he gets his phone number posted. And again, if you're going to send email, it has to be from your college email account because of privacy reasons. If you send email from your personal account, we're not supposed to answer with a definitive answer other than tell you to email us from your school account. For the course description, this provides instruction in skills development in interviewing, note-taking, and report writing in the criminal justice contents, development of skills to conduct investigations by interviewing witnesses, victims, and suspects properly, organization of information regarding incidents into effective written reports. The learning outcomes upon successful completion of the course, you should demonstrate techniques for conducting interviews in support of incident investigations, collect information admissible in court using interview techniques, demonstrate appropriate note-taking skills, and create report diagrams that convey all pertinent information. It's real important to take notes when you are doing the interviews because you're not necessarily going to remember everything. We have another copy of the class outline or the course schedule It is subject to change, but if it changes, you will get an email from Commander Rogers. Now, the course has two major exams, the midterm and the final. They're worth 25% of your grade each. We'll get to that in a minute. There will be several written assignments. I believe it's actually 10. They will be graded for content. Will count actually as 25% of your overall grade. So kind of keep that in mind. I got to correct that number there. And then we also have the discussions, and you've got to keep in mind those follow-ups count for a part of the grade on the discussion. I'm not sure it's going to be 30% on this case because it's a separate score, but they will count as about 10% of your grade, because you'll get 0 to 100 points, and it'll be equal to the others. Grading summary: the midterm is worth 25%. Your final is worth 25%. The quizzes, there's one per chapter. They're worth 25% of your grade. And that written assignment, the discussion boards, that's worth 25% of your grade. So the mistaken print, I'll have to reprint the syllabus to get that corrected. I mentioned earlier the attendance for the online classes. We still have to take attendance. That's part of our accreditation. The way we do that is you have course deadlines to meet. Now, if you do all your work in the first 5 weeks, then you are going to be present for the whole time. I don't think you'll be able to schedule your interviews during that time or get all your follow-ups in, but you could plausibly finish the course in 5 weeks. We do this course in 5 weeks during the summer. There's just a lot of work there. You'd be fine because you did everything before the deadline. If you do things after the deadline, then you're going to be counted either absent or late, depending on whether you got some of the material done that week or all of the material done that week. You have to have the attendance to get pass the class. You're going to have to complete all of the work, even if it's late, in order to pass the course. So if you miss an assignment, and you pass the deadline, you still have to go and finish that assignment, or you fail the class. So there's 100% is needed to be done. 100% of the quizzes, 100% of the both exams, and all of the written assignments. So it's not that much work, but you'll need to get them done. The way things work is if you are late on material, if you don't meet the deadline and you're marked as absence, that counts as one full absence, obviously. If you're late, it counts as a half of absence. So if you do the quiz 1 week but not the discussion, then you're going to be marked as late. If you do the discussion the next week but don't finish the quiz in time, that's another late. Well, that equals to 1 absence. And after you get 3 absences, anything else, each full absence after that, you lose a letter grade off of your final semester grade. So if you're at 3 absences and you're marked late, now you're at 3.5. If you have an A in the course, you now have a B. You have a B in the course, you have a C, and so forth. You're late again, you're now at 4. You're still okay. You still lost 1 letter grade. But if you're late with another class, don't get everything done another week, now you're at 4.5. At 4.5, you now lost 2 letter grades. So if you have an A average, you have a C. If you have a C average, you failed the course. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's important to meet all the deadlines. That's about it. The rest of the syllabus, please read it. I will go in and make the few corrections on the points, but the rest of the material is pretty much standard language. You are held to it, so please read them. It's the same in most courses because it's a standard template, but be familiar with it. Well, I hope you all have a great semester. I hope you enjoy Commander Rogers, and I'm sure you will. He'll work great with you, and I'll probably see most of you in another one of my classes.